Photo kicks off mission. Lulu needs closure. Laura's tearful thank you ***. Port Charles awoke under a pale winter sun, the kind that made everything look softer than it really was. Beneath that calm surface, however, emotions churned violently. Secrets long buried were clawing their way into the light, driven by a single photograph, a daughter's aching need for closure, and a mother's gratitude so raw it left everyone speechless. Friday's episode of General Hospital unfolded like a slow-burning storm, quiet at first, then devastating once it hit. The episode opened in near silence. A photograph lay on the desk at the Metro Court, slightly curled at the edges, as though time itself had tried, and failed, to erase its meaning. The camera lingered on it, allowing the weight of memory to settle before revealing the faces captured in the frame. It was an old photo. Faded, personal, and dangerous. The person holding it knew exactly what it meant. What made the image so powerful wasn't what it showed at first glance, but what it suggested. A connection thought severed. A mission believed to be finished. A truth no one was ready to confront. This single photograph would become the catalyst for everything that followed. Because in Port Charles, pictures don't just capture moments. They resurrect them. Across town, Lulu Spencer stood near the window of her hospital room, staring out at the frozen harbor. Though she was physically stronger now, emotionally she was unraveling. Something was missing. And she knew it. Lulu had survived chaos before. She had endured kidnappings, betrayals, heartbreaks that would have destroyed lesser souls. But this sense of incompletion, was different. It gnawed at her in the quiet moments, whispered to her in half-remembered dreams. She didn't want comfort. She wanted truth. Everyone keeps telling me to rest, Lulu said quietly to her visitor. But how do you rest when your life feels unfinished? The word lingered. Unfinished. For Lulu, closure wasn't a luxury. It was a necessity. She needed to confront the past, every fractured memory, every unresolved goodbye. Until she did, moving forward felt impossible. Down the hall, Laura Collins paused before entering Lulu's room. She had faced criminals, tyrants, and conspiracies far larger than herself. But nothing frightened her more than the thought of losing her daughter, not physically, but emotionally. Laura carried a lifetime of love and regret in her heart. She had always tried to protect her children, but protection often came at a cost. Truth was one of those costs. I don't know how much more she can take, Laura whispered later, confiding in a trusted friend. And I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending everything is fine. Laura sensed that Lulu was on the verge of something monumental, either healing or heartbreak. And the line between the two had never been thinner. Back at the Metro Court, the photograph found its way into the hands of someone who knew exactly how dangerous it was. This wasn't just a memory. It was evidence. A plan began to form, quietly, strategically. No dramatic declarations. No reckless moves. Just purpose. The photo suggested someone wasn't where they were supposed to be. Or worse, that they were exactly where they had always been. A mission was set into motion, not with guns blazing, but with whispered phone calls, locked doors, and careful glances over shoulders. This wasn't about revenge. It was about answers. And answers in Port Charles always came at a price. Later, Lulu finally said what everyone feared she would. No more half-stories, she said firmly. No more protecting me from my own life. Her voice didn't waver. I need to know what happened. All of it. Laura's heart shattered a little in that moment. This wasn't the plea of a confused patient. It was the demand of a woman reclaiming her agency. What Lulu wanted wasn't easy. Some truths had been hidden for good reason. Others had been buried out of pure fear. But Lulu wasn't asking anymore. She was ready. Laura sat beside her daughter, taking Lulu's hand in hers. I wanted to keep you safe, Laura admitted, tears welling. Every choice I made. I thought it was the right one. Lulu squeezed her hand gently. I know. But safety isn't the same as peace. That line broke Laura. Because she knew Lulu was right. Peace couldn't exist without truth. and the truth was finally catching up to them both. When the photograph finally resurfaced in the episode, it landed like a bomb. The characters who saw it froze. No one spoke, because they all understood what it meant. This image confirmed long-suspected theories and reignited fears no one wanted to face. It didn't provide all the answers, but it provided enough to make ignoring the questions impossible. The mission that began with doubt now had direction. Someone had been lying, and someone else was about to be exposed. Back in her room, Lulu experienced flashes, memories stirring just beneath the surface. A voice, a touch, a feeling of unfinished goodbye. Closure wasn't about reopening wounds. It was about finally letting them heal. "I don't care how painful it is," Lulu said later. "I need to know who I am without the lies." For Lulu, this was more than personal, it was existential. She couldn't move forward until she reclaimed her past. The emotional core of Friday's episode arrived quietly. After a long day of revelations, Laura found herself alone with someone who had helped protect Lulu when it mattered most. No grand gestures. No applause. Just honesty. "I never said thank you," Laura said, her voice breaking. "For standing by her. For standing by us." Tears streamed down her face, not of sorrow, but of release. Gratitude, long overdue. In that moment, Laura wasn't a mayor, a legend, or a survivor. She was just a mother. And her thank you carried the weight of a lifetime. As the episode closed, the photograph was locked away, but its power lingered. Lulu stared out at the harbor once more, determination replacing uncertainty. Laura watched from the doorway, pride and fear tangled in her chest. And somewhere in Port Charles, the mission moved forward. Because once the truth begins to surface, there is no stopping it. Friday's General Hospital episode wasn't about explosions or cliffhanger, it was about emotional inevitability. A photo doesn't lie. A daughter deserves answers. And a mother's gratitude can be just as powerful as her fear. As Port Charles braces for what comes next, one thing is certain.